Faculty can call on students during class to assess their comprehension and allow them to apply what they've learned to productive discussions. One popular strategy for calling on students is cold calling, when faculty directly ask a student a question, requiring the student to think on their feet. This practice can incentivize full participation and spur rapid thought, but may not give students enough time to provide a well-rounded answer. In contrast, warm calling is when you give students time to develop a response before calling on them. This way, students have the space to employ higher-order thinking skills before formulating a thoughtful answer. The key difference is the amount of time students are given to produce an answer. The less time they have, the colder the call. The more time they have, the warmer the call. Let's take a look at an interaction in a behavioral economics course where a faculty member decides to cold call a student when posing a hypothetical question.
Imagine our class has a shortage of desks. I ask if anyone can help me go get some from another room. You volunteer. Then I offer to pay you $12 an hour. How would you react to that offer?
Well, it might make me feel offended. Like, I already said I would move the desks, so you don't trust me and you have to pay me to make sure it gets done?
Yes, but what if the task was interesting? Not moving desks, but picking out furniture for the room. If I asked for some help redecorating, you said yes, and then I offer to pay you $12 an hour. Does that change anything?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Anyone else?
I don't know.
With our cold call, we got some answers. But how might those answers change with a different approach? Let's take a look at another version of this interaction where the professor warm calls the students instead.
Imagine I ask for help getting desks from another room. You volunteer to do it for free. Then I offer to pay you $12 an hour. How would my offer to pay you affect your motivation to do that task? Take 2 minutes to write a response. Go.
During these 2 minutes, students are engaged in deep thinking. Rather than responding with their first thought, they have the breathing room to structure and refine their answers before the classroom discussion continues.
Kate, what did you write for your response?
I wrote, offering me money can actually decrease my willingness to do a noble task. For example, in the blood drive scenario from today's reading, participants were less willing to donate blood when offered cash.
Great. Let's change the example. Say I'm the CEO of a software sales company. I offer to give my employees a huge bonus at the end of the year, but only if they meet a certain sales quota. How do you think they'd feel about that?
Maybe anxious? Like, I'm just thinking of this venture competition I was in where the winner got the money to actually start their company. I believed in my idea, but I knew that even if I did really well, I might not win the money. That put a lot of pressure on me. I remember wishing the stakes hadn't been so high.
Exactly. High stakes can affect results. Let me pose a follow-up question. Can the opposite be true? Can too small of a reward disincentivize people?
Yeah, people might find that demeaning.
That's interesting. So if people get overwhelmed by a task with too high of stakes, they might choke. But if the reward is too small, they may find that task demeaning. What does that mean for employers trying to get employees to do something?
Well, I think it depends on a few factors, like the nature of the task and the perceived meaning behind it. The Lego experiment showed us that the meaning behind a task is important. People want to feel acknowledged for their efforts.
So it sounds like what you're saying is it's highly contextual, and there's no way for us to anticipate how...
With warm calling, the instructor was able to call on every student and broaden participation, while students had more time to formulate their answers. This yielded more thoughtful responses and a more robust discussion all students could engage in. With this strategy, students felt more comfortable volunteering responses and contributing to the conversation. Cold and warm calling are just one way to engage with students. If you're interested in facilitating this strategy or others in your classroom, consider signing up for a consultation with the Learning Science Lab.